live from Dover, New Hampshire. And I think that photo you just saw has to be, Ted, that has to be Alaska in the background, where, of course, there's going to be a historic meeting. It has to be, no matter how it turns out, between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. And the issue will be peace in Ukraine, ceasefire and peace. The Russians want to make it more complicated than that because they don't have much to offer on peace. And that is, they believe that this is really a meeting on global issues. So what does that mean? What that means is they're basically saying, you know, we're not going to give you much on Ukraine, but we'll give you a lot on global issues, whatever that means, trade, China, whatever. But the reality is, Ukraine has to be solved. You just can't do nothing about it, because if you do nothing about it, the war will continue. And of course, whatever the United States agrees to, Ukraine has to agree to it as well. It is their country, after all. And there are certain things that I would probably say are bottom line that they can't agree to. And it looks as if they are in almost mutually exclusive positions. With regard to land, Russia doesn't want to give any back. It's sort of doubling down by asking for the parts of the land in the provinces in which they haven't completely conquered the province. Those are 3 out of 4. They want the additional land that they haven't been able to take militarily. I'm assuming that's a negotiating position, so they have something to give away, and that they would be content with taking and keeping everything that they've been able to acquire by slaughtering the Ukrainian people. They also want to make sure that Ukraine doesn't get any militarily stronger. In fact, they want Ukraine to do something probably similar to disarm. Now, Ukraine, on the other hand, doesn't want to give back any territory, because any territory they give back really has been illegally and in violation of both agreements and international law taken from them by an invading army for absolutely no reason other than acquisition. And so they don't want to give any of it back. And of course, they want to be able to make certain this doesn't happen again, which means they want to increase their defensive situation. Long and short of it is they want to be part of NATO. And that's probably one of the reasons for the war in the first place. They wanted to be part of NATO. So this is going to be very, very difficult to do. This is not easy. It's a very, very difficult negotiation. Both parties are locked themselves into very, very hard positions, and in some cases, actually necessary ones. Again, the whole basis of the war was to keep Ukraine out of NATO. If Ukraine doesn't come out of it with a defensive situation similar to being part of NATO, or being assured of protection by the European countries, certainly, and America, but at least the European countries, then there's no point in making peace. Certainly if they're not going to get any of their territory back. And there's only a certain amount you can push them against their interests, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see if this works. The president says, I can tell in the first, what did he say, 10 minutes or a minute or whatever, whether it's going to work or not. He's right. He's right. Either Putin's ready to deal, or he's going to stay with the very, very hard and fast position that he has, which means no deal. And Putin knows that. I mean, Putin knows they can't agree to letting them take all the territory and no defenses for themselves, so that whenever Putin wants to, he can just cross the borders and take some more. You have a range of opinions to Putin has won the war, Ukraine has won the war, because it's won a world opinion on its side. And it can continue to win by this article by Paul Schwenenson in the Reason magazine. Basically says the war in Ukraine is already over. Russia just doesn't know yet, and this is winning by losing. What he means by that is the longer that Ukraine delays and the more worn down Russia will be. Whether Russia can make significant gains beyond what they've already taken, they've been trying that for 2 years and they haven't really moved very far. And over the last 3 months, they've tried very, very hard to take large parts of Ukraine. And if anything, I think in the last year, they've gained 1% more. Or they did take back a good deal of Kursk, but that's, of course, in Russia. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't really have a clue as to whether Putin is ready to negotiate or he's not. He gives signals. No, he gives no signals that he's ready to negotiate. All the signals have been that he isn't, but that doesn't mean anything. That could be posturing. So we'll have more on it as we get closer to it tomorrow, and if we get any hints as to what positions we're going to take, Russia has already laid out its position, as I've described to you. The other thing, of course, that's going on at the very same time to keep the president busy is trying to get the Gaza situation over, and it really there doesn't look like Hamas is willing to move off its position of not recognizing the state of Israel. And Israel is not ready to move off its position of allowing Hamas to be part of any possible government in Gaza. So now, the longer the delay, the more favorable for Netanyahu, because every day he takes out more and more of whatever is left of Hamas. So he's not rushing to make a deal. He wants to eliminate Hamas or get as close to that as possible. He does seem to have gotten support for Israel being part of assuring its own security within Gaza, which is very, very important. Which means right now Israel has control of about 75% of Gaza, and if there is going to be any kind of agreement, they want control of all of it from the point of view of safety. Although they're willing to agree to some kind of outside government running it civilly. And it doesn't seem like we're particularly opposed to that, particularly after those descriptions and videos put out by Hamas of people digging their own grave. So that's where we stand with the two wars. And when we get through this weekend, maybe there'll be some progress on one of them. The DC takeover by the president, of course, has become a partisan issue. It shouldn't be at all. There's no question that this has to be done. And we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to show you exactly why that's the case. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month.
Wow.
Including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Welcome back to America's Mayor Live. So the president has basically invoked that part of the Home Rule Act, I think it is of 1993, that allows him to take over for 30 days, or really for the Attorney General and the federal law enforcement to take over for 30 days, see if they can start to get crime down in District of Columbia. Now, I would think the Democrats would agree with this. This is a nonpartisan issue. And to say that, well, D.C. has gotten safer. It isn't a question of whether it's gotten safer. It's a question of whether it's safe. And I'm going to show you this chart, and you tell me if the Democrats just don't lie about everything. Take a look at this. This is the homicide rate in District of Columbia. Here, let me put it up a little higher here. There it is. That's good. Okay, so look at St. Louis. St. Louis is number one, 54 homicides, or almost 55 homicides per 100,000. And then I would like you to look at New York, 4.7 homicides per 100,000. And now I would like you to look at Washington, D.C., basically 28 per 100,000. D.C. is fourth in the country in terms of killing people. And it is, well, you do the arithmetic, 4 times plus the number of homicides in New York. In other words, you have a 4 times greater chance of being killed in the District of Columbia than you do scary old New York. Or how about a 3 times greater chance of being killed in the District of Columbia than in Mexico City? Or how about basically a 2 times greater chance than in Bogota, Colombia? And the Democrats want to tell you it's safe. I mean, that is really just not giving a damn about human life. This is not a Democrat chart or a Republican chart. And this has been this way for the last 7 or 8 years. This is the nation's capital. It can't be one of the most dangerous places in America. I mean, it's the 4th most dangerous in America. I mean, look at St. Louis. It's absolutely out of control. Needless to say, every one of those cities is run by a Democrat. St. Louis, New Orleans, Detroit, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and Dallas. I don't know about Lexington, Kentucky, and well, New York is obviously, but New York is down there because I brought it down and Bloomberg. When I took over, New York was at the head of this list. Under my Democrat predecessor, we set records for homicide in New York. Now we're setting records for fewest number of homicides, fewest number of shootings. And even with the increase in New York and the fear in New York of crime, because they got used to a very, very safe city, look at that comparison. So tell me how you can say that it's a safe city. I mean, nobody's making up these crime numbers. It's the 4th most dangerous city in the country. So why wouldn't you want the president's help? Mayor or Democrats in Congress? I mean, everything he does, they oppose. This is about as sensible as opposing if he found a cure for cancer. Well, we'll let people die of cancer because we don't want to give them the credit. So I think the president is doing absolutely the right thing. I think that our nation's capital should not be a place where people have to fear that they're going to be killed, 3 times more than in Mexico City or 5 times more than in New York City. And we could do the same comparison with most other crimes as well. It isn't just homicide and shootings. This city is out of control. And this does not have to do particularly with policing, although it does to some extent. But it has to do with the courts that operate in favor of the criminals. Bail, people are let out constantly. People are given very, very short sentences. Juveniles can basically kill their parents and get out in a year. And if you do anything less than that, you get out completely. And a lot of the crime in DC is juvenile crime. So let's see if the president can get this on the right track. The mayor has opposed, but also kind of agrees also. And I think she's working with the president to get the crime down. Although being a member of the Democrat Party, she has to be critical, and she's got to say silly things like the city is really very safe. I'm sorry. These facts don't lie. Maybe your crime rates lie, but this doesn't lie. The number of homicides is a great bellwether because it's very hard to fake that. So Israel is really making a lot of progress as everybody kind of sits there and goes like this, right? Like this here. We're going to have an agreement. We're going to have an agreement. Meanwhile, Israel kicks the shit out of Hamas and does a pretty damn good job on what's left of Hezbollah and what's left of the Houthis. Bibi doesn't let any grass grow under his feet. Thank God we have him, huh? There's an article in the Wall Street Journal that points out what we all know, and this also is to counter the propaganda and the brainwashing that Israel is starving the people of Gaza. You cannot get food to the people of Gaza. And this is true of territories and countries where terrorists are in control. It's uniformly true. It's been true of Gaza for a long time, particularly when the UN was doing it, because the UN group was part of Hamas. I mean, they caught maybe 10 or 12. They caught maybe 10 or 12 that were working for Hamas, but the whole damn organization was working for Hamas. If a combination of Hamas and Fatah, which was Arafat's group that supposedly is the more peaceful of the two, it may be the more peaceful, but it's equally as crooked. If the money that the U.S. sent to the Palestinian Authority had been used over the last 30 years, even a decent percentage of it to help the people of Palestine, the place would be a place would be beautiful. Most of that money has been stolen by the terrorist group Hamas to fund its terrorist activities and also to get rich. The people sitting in Qatar who run Hamas are described as billionaires. They didn't exactly invent something or own a business. The business was stealing the American money that came there. The same business that made Arafat a multimillionaire. And our lack of control over the money we give to them. Like, we just give it to them. What the hell are we doing giving money to a country that's controlled by a terrorist group and a crooked political party? We think we're doing any good doing that? No, we're doing bad. We're creating a much worse situation for ourselves. So you look at Somalia, for example, that the Wall Street Journal article points out, barely 1/8 of donated food reaches the intended household. It's stolen by the powerful clans. And Gaza presents the longest running case of diverted aid. So one of the things here to do is to fix that distribution, which President Trump is trying to do by the United States taking it over. I mean, the two developments with regard to Gaza in the last 4 or 5 days that are hopeful is that the U.S. will take over the distribution of the food, and Israel has said that they want to have a control over security in Gaza if and when there should be some kind of an authority or state or something permanent set up there. They're more than willing to have anybody that the Arab countries want or anyone else to run the civil part of it, but they want to be in charge of the security. Why? Because it poses an existential threat to their survival. And they have every right to be in charge of the security so that October 7th doesn't happen again. And as I said, Israel just keeps going. So you say, well, Israel attacked a hospital. Yeah. And in the hospital, they killed 7 acknowledged Hamas terrorists, including al-Sharif, who was in charge of the Hamas group in Gaza City. And al-Sharif is an Al Jazeera journalist. Oh my God, Israel killed an Al Jazeera journalist, terrorist who's murdered lots of people. I mean, just because he's an Al Jazeera journalist doesn't allow him to get away with being a terrorist. Well, maybe the Democrats would do that, or Biden or Obama, who gave money to terrorists, but sensible people wouldn't. So the president's deal with Namibia and the other chip company, American, I've forgotten the name of the other company, is quite controversial because he is requiring them to give the United States 15% of whatever amount of money they make on the sale of their chips to China. Now, remember, these are not. There are chips and there are chips. These are normal chips that are used for cell phones and iPads and things a little more complicated than that. These are not the super chips that are used in the supercomputers and the computers that'll be used for incredible feats of artificial intelligence and tracking, and those are made largely in Taiwan by a company that has moved a lot, or is moving a lot of its activity to Arizona and to the United States as one of the early deals that the president announced, which is both a great financial deal, but also one that's very helpful to our national security. So why is the U.S. allowing Namibia and AMD to sell these chips to China? Well, because China is going to get them anyway, number one. Number two, we want to keep up the international trade. We need China to depend on us for something. And by extracting an amount of money for this, you can keep control of it. It's no different than exacting a tax on it. It's just that they're going to give 15% to the government. The president should instead have called it a tax. I don't exactly know what they're calling it, but the way it was described was 15% of their revenues from the sale to China of these chips will be paid to the United States government. So I don't know, if you want to escape people criticizing you, say you're imposing a 15% tax on the sale of any of these chips to China. Whether you agree or disagree with the policy being a good policy, or you agree or disagree with selling the chips to China, I do not understand what the big hullabaloo is over the government saying we want 15% of the transaction. It's just a question of what do you call it? Now, the real question is how do we keep Namibia rather? How do we keep it? How do we keep it ahead of their Chinese competitors? Because we're counting on them to a very large extent, and a couple of other companies, to keep us in the forefront of artificial intelligence, in the forefront of supercomputing, and this hopefully is going to assist them in growing and not get hurt. And also it sort of avoids some of the trade rivalry and being killed in the crosshairs of that with two companies, AMD and NVIDIA. How do you pronounce that, Ted? NVIDIA or NVIDIA, right? And it's NV. You know, you expect an I. So for phonetic purposes, you put an I in the middle, right? NVIDIA. President is once again putting off the execution of the most onerous taxes on China. So he's going to extend it a tariff truce for another 90 days. Now, there is already a 30% duty on China. But the question is, are some of these going to go up to 145% or climb to 125%, depending on the tariff? And that's being put off for 90 more days as we negotiate. But the tariff right now is pretty darn substantial. And there are more than just that, but the base tariff is about 30%. I am very, very shocked, and I wonder if this is if this has to do with the industry or it's just an unusual thing, and that's the torture and the kidnapping that took place in Manhattan a couple of months ago by those crypto billionaires. I'm talking about John Walls. John Walls runs a cryptocurrency company, and he invited. He had I don't know if he invited him or he convinced another guy that's involved in the crypto business, and I guess was a partner at one point, Michael Valentino Teofrasto Carteron. He invited him to come to his actually to his apartment in New York, and both he and his partner apparently tortured this guy for several days. Now, you might remember Carteron escaped and ran up to a New York City police officer and said, I've been kidnapped and I'm getting tortured. And exactly what they wanted from him in the crypto business, I'm not exactly sure. But Walls and I guess his partner in this deal, William Duplessis, were arrested and now are being charged with kidnapping and torture. His girlfriend, I'm talking about Walls, or his fiance that broke up with Walls several months ago, has made very similar charges against him, and said that that he used to hold people captive in Kentucky, and that he grabbed her and threatened her and put a gun to her head, and said he was going to kill her if she left him. So I don't know, Ted, if this is indicative of that business or these guys are just two individual wackos. I mean, is the crypto... when you say the word cryptocurrency, maybe it's my ignorance.
No, and you're not alone, Mayor. You're not alone.
Maybe it's my ignorance, but there's something about it that sounds like this kind of thing could happen.
Right.
Or am I dreaming things?
You're absolutely spot on with that one, Mayor. And yeah, just
so I mean, I don't know if this
to
John
wrap my head
Walls
around it
is a one-off or a two-off because he had a partner doing it, or this is a problem. You know, it's like the rappers, right? Yeah. The rappers they got to kill somebody, right, to be taken seriously. It's like, you know, like organized crime. You have to make your bones by killing somebody. Well, you know, the illegals that came in to the United States, Ted, were all wonderful people, and they didn't commit much crime. And the Democrats still say that. That's about as sensible as saying that Washington is safe when it has 4 or 5 times the murders in New York per capita. So we like to point out every time we can the examples of these horrible crimes being committed by them. An illegal immigrant was arrested in South Dakota. So these people get pretty darn far into the country, right? And he was transporting, catch this, $12 million in methamphetamine. He was 42 years old. He hasn't been identified other than he's an illegal. He was pulled over by the South Dakota Highway Patrol. That must have been quite a surprise for them. And they found 207 pounds of crystal meth in his vehicle, which is approximately the same weight as an adult black bear. And it was worth about $12 million. So this guy was no small-time drug dealer. That's the kind of people that were coming over. And that's the kind of people you get when you open the gate completely. And you get a disproportionate number of them when you open the gate completely because they don't have a fear of being detected. It just stands to reason that this group of 12 to 20 million people who came into the United States, invited by Biden and unvetted, non-vetted, would carry with it a much larger percentage of criminals because the wide open invitation is just too damn tempting to a drug dealer like this, or to human traffickers, or to terrorists. I mean, that's why we worry about how many terrorists do we have here, and how many Iranian sleeper cells are there. I mean, if Iran wants to answer our attack, it probably can't answer it effectively militarily. And the worry is that they'll try to answer it through terrorism, which doesn't require the same level of resources. And you either are going to detect it or you're not. And if you don't, you got a terrible problem on your hands. So at the same time, today, a jury found Martinez Hernandez. Let me see if I have a picture of him. I don't know if I do, but here's a picture of him. I'll show you a picture. This is Martinez Hernandez. That's him right there. You won't see him because he's behind bars. So this is the guy who killed Rachel Morin. You might remember this. This is one of the murders that happened. They happened sort of at a similar period of time by the illegals who don't commit crime. So this illegal came into the United States as part of the Biden invitees, and luckily this was a real judge, and the judge gave him the maximum sentence. He was found guilty in April of murdering Rachel Morin, and he was sentenced yesterday. And the family delivered audio tapes from the sisters, and the mother herself spoke, and she went out of her way to blame Biden for the death of her daughter. Nobody put her up to it. Nobody. I mean, the woman's a sensible woman. This is one of the many, many people that Biden contributed to their being murdered. Or if we hadn't had Biden, if they hadn't cheated in the 2020 election and put Biden in office, this lady would be alive today. But instead, this criminal, rapist, murderer was allowed in, Victor Martinez Hernandez, without any vetting, plus whatever attempts were made by ICE to find him were thwarted by sanctuary cities. And now this woman is dead, and she leaves behind three children. I mean, this is Judge Yolanda Curtin is the one who sentenced Victor Martinez Hernandez to the maximum, I guess, life in prison, and he is a illegal from Salvador, and I do believe he was a guy that came over the border at least at one of the times, the last time, and we didn't even know he came in. This is the group that we don't really have any handle on at all, because the border is very, very big, very wide, and there are plenty of places where, without any interruption at all, you can just walk over the border. And that's where the big, most offensive, most dangerous, richest of the illegals come over, or where the large amounts of drugs or the children are brought in. There are two cases in which the government is asking for the release of the grand jury testimony in the Epstein case. And one of those cases was decided by a United States District Judge, Paul Engelmeyer. And the judge ripped the Justice Department apart and said that this was a diversion. There's no there. He described the material as not revealing anything much and has refused to release it, saying that there's no overriding reason of justice to do it, which is what the statute says. The statute says grand jury testimony should remain secret unless it's used at trial, and it should only be released in the interest of justice. There has to be a very, very big overriding public purpose. I would have thought he would have found it in all of the questions relating to national security about Epstein and what Epstein was doing. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
So there's already speculation about the Republican candidate in 2028. The president was asked about this the other day, and he opined that Rubio, Vance, he mentioned a few others too, would be excellent candidates. And when asked who is ahead or whatever, he said he guesses that right now Vance would have the edge, but seemed to be very impressed with both Vance and Rubio. And so there was an article today in the Wall Street Journal analyzing their chances. This is kind of early to be doing this. And the two of them are apparently pretty good friends and work together very well and very closely. And I really hate to see it at this early stage because it could kind of disrupt that, you know? I don't think so. I think both of them are patriots. Both of them are much more concerned about, getting things right now, and then any kind of rivalry between the two of them. And actually, I think that rivalry will get decided on which one does a better job, if there is a distinction between them. So buckle down and do a good job. And Vance would kind of be ahead because he's the vice president. Rubio has more experience and he's older. Rubio, or somebody on behalf of Rubio, suggested a Rubio-Vance ticket, which made sense in terms of their ages. But what is Vance going to be vice president for 16 years? That's a little crazy, right? May be better off making Vance Secretary of State. If you feel that would be a better situation for him to get the experience that would be an advantage for Rubio over Vance, right? He's more experienced. Vance is probably more popular with the diehard MAGA crowd, I would think. But I'm not sure. I don't know. No polls have been taken, nor do I think they should be taken at this point. What good are they going to do now? And both of them should, and I have no reason to believe that they are unnerved by this or in any way affected by it. It seems to me that both of them have their heads down and they're doing the best job they can do for President Trump and the country. And both of them are, in my view, well qualified to be president. As I said, Vance is the better campaigner by a little, and Rubio certainly has more governmental experience and has proved himself more. And he's doing an absolutely bang-up job. I mean, a terrific job as Secretary of State, about as good as we've had in a very, very long time. And Vance is doing a very good job. So all that means is an excess of riches, and we should look at it that way. And the decision doesn't have to be made for several years. And a lot of things can happen in that 7-year period. Ted will be interested in this. They already put out the preseason top 25.
Now this is college? No, this is
College.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've already seen that, yeah.
So who's number one?
Who's number one in this one?
Yeah, don't look.
I'm not looking. Ohio State. It's not Ohio State?
Mm-mm. Try again.
Texas.
Yes. Texas is number one.
I'm putting Ohio State over Texas. Already they're wrong, but okay.
And they edged out Penn State.
Where's Ohio State?
By 5 points. Well, let me see. Let me get the whole list here. Number 3. Where's number 3? Ohio State.
See, I'm putting Ohio State. See,
third ranked.
The sports media is just as wrong as the
Texas,
political media.
Penn State.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Ohio State. Clemson. Georgia. Notre Dame. Oregon. Alabama. LSU and Miami. That's the top 10.
Okay, so I'd be willing to say a good number of those teams are somewhere in that top 10. And, it's tough. These are 18 to 21-year-old kids.
The SEC has 10 teams in the top 25.
I'm not surprised.
10, almost half.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I mean, there's 2 big conferences now, right? How many of the Big 10 teams are in there? Probably a good number.
They don't say.
But, yeah, look, I think Texas will be right up there, Ohio State.
And the SEC has 4 teams in the top 10.
Not surprised. I mean, the 2 big conferences in football now, right, are the Big 10 and the SEC.
The Big 10 has 2 of the top 3 teams.
Yep.
So that's pretty good too. I mean, they don't have as many teams in the top 25, but they're right at the very top.
Right. Right.
Now, last year, the championship game was between Penn State, right?
Ohio State.
And
Well, Ohio State won, and they must have
wasn't
beaten,
Penn State?
They must have beaten Texas. Or was it Notre Dame?
It's Notre Dame. That's it. You're right.
We watched it.
It was Notre Dame. You're absolutely right. It was Notre Dame.
It was they had the playoffs now.
Yeah, Notre Dame actually surprised everyone by getting there.
Right. We've watched that
They
whole
were
season.
ranked like 5th or 6th, right?
Right. Remember, we watched when they lost to Northern Illinois at the beginning of the year.
And Notre Dame was pulling out these games
Right.
like they were destined. But you thought that Notre Dame wasn't good enough to beat them.
I did not. You're right.
Oh, you weren't sure Notre Dame would even get there.
That's right. And I'm trying to now look at.
I root for Notre Dame. So
You're
I'm
a big
not,
fan, yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't be impartial. So I was surprised they got as far as they did. But you remember they had that one, they won every game but that first game, right?
That's right.
It was like a terrible game. The first game they got blown out. People were saying, "Oh, why is everybody?"
That coach was going to get fired.
Why is everybody so excited about Notre Dame? They got blown out by.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the season you couldn't touch them.
Yeah. It's amazing. It was quite something.
I wonder. Where are they? Number 4, number 5?
Yeah, they benefit from being independent.
Notre Dame is number 6.
Yeah, they benefit from staying independent.
They have number 6.
Yep.
Then Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and Miami. This is a good group of teams.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Georgia is number 5. Clemson is number 4. Then you have Ohio State.
strong-
I mean, I wonder why they dropped Ohio State to number 3. They come in as the reigning champ.
Yeah. Well, Texas has that quarterback, Archie Manning Jr., so the next Manning of the Manning brothers.
Yeah.
So
now whose child is he? Oh, he's the one that didn't become a pro because he got injured.
Yes, the son of that, right? He's the
Yeah.
son of the one that didn't. Yeah. Isn't that something? That is something. The third Manning, who was also really good, but he got hurt.
He was supposedly just as good as the brothers.
Isn't that how it always works?
But I'm pretty sure he was a receiver. Was he a quarterback too?
Receiver, I believe. Let me look.
Yeah, take a look. That'd be interesting. Imagine if he were on a team with his brothers. Has there ever been a quarterback
And the receiver.
in the pros? I'm sure it's happened in college. A quarterback thrown to his brother.
There's got to. I'll look it up. There's got to be. I'll look. I'm not going to have it right now, but yeah, I'll look.
I can't think of, but you can't think of one off
No,
the top of your head.
no,
right?
of course not.
But you think in the long history of football, it has to have happened. Has to. I'm almost certain it has to have happened.
I think you're right.
Well, I don't know about pro. It certainly has happened in college.
Yeah, because college,
Okay, I mean, a lot of brothers go to the same college.
yeah, and if you're a star, you can usually get your brother on the team, even if he's not as good, right?
Where?
Pros, you can't get on the team.
Well, first, let's look up the third Manning brother.
Oh,
And
is that Cooper?
Cooper Manning. That's it. And it's his son.
Okay.
Who's the quarterback?
Yep.
It's his son who's the hotshot quarterback.
Yes. Who's starting for Texas? Longhorns.
When are they going to start playing?
Couple of weeks. I'll look up the. Looking for a C quarter right now. So the
I know they're already doing
college.
they're doing preseason pro games because you wanted to watch one the other night.
I watched it.
You did watch it. See, this guy's a big football guy.
10 days away, opening week of the college football season. So let's see who Notre Dame has that night.
Yeah, the colleges start early, huh?
That's right. And some of the big.
I think they added this week. Traditionally, they didn't start until after Labor Day, but probably more than a few years ago, they added this extra week as they added games.
Notre Dame plays at Miami. We won't be down there yet, but I would suggest
When?
we go August 31st.
You know, they start off with a tough team.
Which is something new that these teams are doing. They're opening. Some teams are opening up with a tough game, which actually makes sense
Miami
because it gives
10.
you time to come back. Right?
So it's number 5 Notre Dame and number 10 Miami.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big game, and they want these big matchups because it's worth so much money on TV, right? So they find a way.
It also gets people into the game really quick.
Exactly, and you can recover if you. I'd rather play a tough team
Well, like Notre Dame did last year.
like they did last year. Imagine if they lost to a team like that at the end of the year. It's all over. But they did at the beginning of the year and came back.
And you know, I think Notre Dame gets a lot of benefits if they have one great liability. I think teams get up more for playing Notre Dame.
I think you're right.
First of all, they know they're
The
going to
Yankees deal with that.
The Yankees have to deal with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, but I think since you play the Yankees so often, it's hard for that really to happen all the time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But if
College football once every 10 years sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden you get to play Notre Dame.
That's your Super Bowl.
Plus, how about being practical? You have more people watching you.
Right.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh,
The
national television.
The audience is probably
Actually,
3 to.
Good point.
I bet a lot of these football games, because there's so many. I mean, on a Saturday,
Yeah.
I mean,
Home Shopping Network, we got a game on.
Lucky the television has 500 stations. I mean, this.
The CNN's going to start covering football games.
I swear to God, you and I could make up 2 teams and call them a college, and they wouldn't even know.
That's a good point.
Southwestern University and Northeastern University, number 5 and number 6 in the country.
Just give
are gonna
numbers,
play each other.
right? Yeah.
You get a bunch of bums to come out there and play, and you and I can do the play-by-play. Here we are at Bobo Field in downtown Ubergaz.
Well, Mayor, the Packers play the Giants again this year.
You know what we can do? They could do an AI football game.
But you know what I'd like to do? The Packers play the Giants this year. I'd like to call the game. Maybe they'll give us a little spot in one of the booths.
Is it at Giants
It's
Stadium?
at Giant Stadium.
Ooh.
How cool would that be if they gave us a little
Okay,
I don't know.
we're gonna try to go to that one.
That's a big ask, but I don't know if someone could pull it off. Maybe you could.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think I could pull it off.
We got to talk about that. That would be fun. That would be a lot of. I mean, we wouldn't have there's no way the NFL would give us the rights to broadcast the game, but
Give us the rights. They probably sue us.
yeah. But
Don't
maybe
they have that announcement at the end of baseball?
Yeah. Remember that growing up?
They don't do that with baseball games as much anymore. They do it with the World Series, but it used to be every baseball game they would do that.
Really?
Yeah,
The
every Yankee
MLB
game.
express
Rights are reserved
for the
And
MLB.
if you replay this without permission, we'll kill you.
Yeah. Without express written
We'll
consent of the
We'll
National
send you
Football
over
League.
to the crypto
Yeah.
torturers.
Well, it's like when I was a little kid. Remember those? Remember mattresses had the big warning on them. I don't know if you knew this, but mattresses and people at home will know this. They have these tags on the mattresses, right? It said, "Do not remove under penalty of law."
Right.
And it was in big letters. And as a kid, I used to see that on a mattress and think, "Oh my God, Mom!" Right? Like we have to make sure that tag stays on there, or we're in trouble. Similar, yeah. But you're right.
Without the permission of Major League Baseball.
The express
it's
written
prohibited.
consent. I remember that being
I remember
the
how
words.
it ended. I forget the exact words. It ended with without the permission.
Yeah.
Without the permission of Major League Baseball is prohibited.
Yes, I think that the NFL one was without the express written consent of the National Football League. Why is it express written consent? Is that a specific language?
I think written consent would be enough. Some lawyer decided to add a word to it.
Make himself feel.
They send the mafia in to kill you if you did it.
Yeah, they really do.
So I had that long discussion with myself about Vance and Rubio. What do you think? What do you think, Ted?
I like how you said that, Mayor. Okay, so
Ted is a political expert, ran campaigns.
wow, that coming from you means a lot, Mayor.
Knows a lot about politics, has good instincts.
Yeah,
Look, I think we've discussed this, so I think I know your view, but
right.
we've discussed this
And
off the air.
I'm willing to say it. What the hell, right? Vice President Vance, he's serving the president great. We like the guy. He's doing a great job, and I agree. He'd be a formidable president. I can't get over the fact that he is on the record previously comparing his current boss
I forgot that. Yeah.
to
Wonder if
a
the
certain
president's
Adolf
forgotten
Hitler. And
I wonder
like,
if the president's forgotten that.
right. And it's one thing to previously be against somebody. It's politics, right? There's 10 people running. It's one thing to criticize or be against someone and then get on board. But he didn't just criticize the man. He compared him to
Adolf Hitler.
someone we all consider one of the worst human beings ever to exist on the face of this earth. I've never once compared Obama to Adolf Hitler,
You don't
right?
think he's made up for that?
Look, it's not about making up for it. Yes, of course he has. Of course he has, right?
Rubio's criticized the president too when they're running against each other,
Right.
and there's a little animosity afterwards.
Right. And that's why I'm not, this isn't dispositive for me. I'm putting it out there. I want to work myself.
Marco didn't go as far.
Right. I'm trying to, I want to work this out with you and the audience as we, we're a long ways away. But Mayor, I just can't get over, it's not just being critical, right? But that's strong. That's extremely strong language to use against somebody, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that you've ever compared to someone to Hitler. I mean,
No, I don't think.
That's
I'm
a tough-
trying to think. Maybe. I mean, I've compared some of the things
that they've
to
done.
Nazi tactics, like
Right.
what the FBI was doing with the stormtroopers.
And to be fair, the Democrats today, I mean, I'm not going to go there, but I mean, some of their tactics are quite something,
Well,
right?
I
And what you had to
also
deal with,
said,
if anyone had a right to call these people now.
My own experience with the courts are the ones that I observed. I mean, I don't think I've ever used a Nazi example. I used the Soviet Union.
Right.
You might as well be in the Soviet Union.
Yeah. And I'm with you. And of course, Marco Rubio and the mayor go back a little bit to this.
Marco's a good friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean, I have great respect for him. And if you ask me based on experience, who I'd be more comfortable with, of course I'd be more comfortable with Marco. But I think Vance is getting the experience.
Yeah.
By the time he gets there, he'll probably have it.
right.
And I do maybe because I ran and I was in politics, I do overcome that statement
You do.
based on his getting to know Trump better.
Yeah.
And although Marco never said anything as dramatic as that, he also had real problems
Yeah.
with Trump.
Yeah.
It's like Ted Cruz at the Republican convention in 2016. When Ted Cruz was standing on the side and he wouldn't applaud for Trump and he wouldn't accept him, I said, I'm gonna do everything I can to beat that guy. And then his actions won me over.
Yeah.
I thought you cannot in any way fault Cruz for being disloyal to Trump for the 4 years that Trump was president.
Right.
And even the 4 years after. I mean, he didn't jump on the I'm so scared about January 6th. Let me condemn.
Right. And I'd be curious
Somebody's
to know
talking to me here.
that. And by the way, and that's going to be that to me is an important point. I don't know that I have any, hard red lines, but where were these people where were they on January 6th? Where did they fall? If you weren't, if you were anything, if you wavered on that, because Mayor, that tells us a lot.
I mean, I always watch Cruz because of what I told you. Cruz was 100% with him
Yeah.
and expressing doubt about it. I think Rubio too.
Right.
I don't think either one of them fell into the let's condemn Trump.
Right.
But I mean, look at the people that walked out of his administration, the jackasses that walked out of his administration. Right. Look at Fox.
Oh my gosh, the ones that left. Right.
I mean, the people at Fox, from what I can tell, looking at some of the depositions, just completely committed perjury.
No, it's almost like they admitted to crimes that they themselves didn't commit. They were so afraid.
No, we never believed that the election was stolen. They told me that they thought the election was stolen.
It shows how afraid people are.
They gave me information about the stolen election.
Now, I got to play this one clip. The mayor's he may have a little bit of bias. He's in the favor of Senator Rubio. Let's play the clip.
Well, Senator, my understanding is that the mayor was early in endorsing you back in 2010.
Yeah. Let me guys tell you something.
Quick story.
The mayor didn't just endorse me. He called me a week after the election and wanted to go after Charlie Crist again. We don't got to keep hitting him.
God bless.
I love that clip.
I'm ready to go after Charlie Crist now.
Yeah. So, but I agree with you, Mayor. You've got me back on the Marco Rubio train. Well, Marco did too by doing so. He's doing such a stand-up job for the president.
Well, I'm more. I mean, I wasn't sure when he ran. I wasn't sure when he ran against Trump. I didn't support him, and I didn't think he was ready. A little bit like Vance has got to prove himself. By the time we get to that, which is the Republican convention in 2024, right?
Yeah.
I would say he was qualified, but now as Secretary of State, I think he's doing an exceptional job and proving it. But I think Vance is too. I think Vance has grown a lot.
I agree, and Vance ended up being a great candidate. Particularly when you win, right? When someone wins, I almost always like Mike Pence 2016. People like to criticize.
Although I should say, I said that Vance would be a better candidate. Marco was a great candidate. I mean, it was down by like 25 points or something.
Really? When you
he didn't have Trump helping him.
Right.
He had me helping him and Jeb Bush.
Well, you're right up there, Jeb. I will.
No, Jeb.
I know you're
Jeb
personal
gets
friends
a
with Jeb.
really, really bad rap.
He does. I'm not saying
because of being what did he call him? A lazy, no,
low energy.
No energy. I mean that was something wrong because he was just the opposite as a governor and as a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
It's true that Rick Scott, for example, I mean, they've had three really great governors in Florida: Jeb, Scott, and now DeSantis. And Scott and DeSantis, they have a hard time campaigning. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. They're not, yeah.
Scott should have been elected senator by 20 points. He was like a super popular governor until he got to the ballot box, and then something about his campaigning that just doesn't work. And at least in that campaign, DeSantis was terrible and needed help to get through the campaign. But there's no way you can fault either one of them as governor. They were exceptional governors. The reason Florida is in such good shape is they've had, with the interruption of Charlie Crist for 4 years, they've had almost a generation of, probably in each case, one of the best governors in America. Jeb Bush, people forget what a great governor he was. Rick Scott was fabulous. And DeSantis, it's got to be one of the best governors we have right now.
Right.
So that's why I moved to Florida. It has the best governors.
Better than New York.
Pardon me?
Better than New York.
Hokle pokle.
Yeah. But let's keep this conversation going, Mayor, in terms of...
But I mean, she looks great now compared to Comrade Mondami, and she hasn't endorsed him.
Right. Now,
I wonder what's going to happen. She hasn't endorsed him. I don't think Schumer has endorsed him, and I don't think Jeffries has endorsed him. And those are the three most prominent Democrats, right? The minority leader of the House, the minority leader of the Senate, and the governor.
if I'm Mamdani, I don't see the benefit of having Hochul on board. I think she's just silly.
No, I don't see it either.
Maybe Jeffries, right? From a Democrat
why,
perspective.
you know why she may become important? If he starts to bleed regular Democrats. I mean, I don't know how many people voted for him without really focusing on exactly who he is. They voted for him because he's the young Democrat candidate.
And he's not
He's the most interesting candidate.
And he's
probably
not
was the best campaigner with the most energy. Now every day there's a new ridiculous thing exposed by the New York Post mostly about him. Mm-hmm. And he has to be bleeding some support. I mean, when he says things like, you know, the government should run the grocery stores, mm-hmm. that's got to lose you a lot of voters. Mm-hmm. But so I would think in the long run, he's going to have trouble with the middle of the road, more moderate Democrat voter. I think they still exist. As candidates, they don't exist anymore because they're not allowed to exist. If you don't say what they want you to say, you don't get any money. They squeeze you out. They run a primary against you. But among Democrats in general, there still have to be Democrats who are against communism. I hope there are. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, people ask me, like, we were at a party tonight before we came here. Really a nice one. Great food. But we're in New Hampshire, and they were all asking me about New York. How could it be? How could this guy be a candidate? I have a hard time explaining it. I basically tell them I think a good many of my former fellow citizens are brainwashed. I don't understand for the life of me how you could vote for this guy with the things that he says. Defund the police. The police are racist. Police are vicious. How the hell is he going to reduce crime attacking the police? Well, I mean, the city will be where it was under de Blasio, but worse. I mean, de Blasio should be rooting for him, just like Dinkins was rooting for de Blasio. De Blasio got Dinkins off the list of worst mayors, like Biden got Obama off the list. But this guy's like almost impossible. President Trump has pledged to end no cash bail. And he says it started in Chicago. Now we have it in New York. We have it with the federal government in Washington, D.C. except for Washington, D.C., though. I don't know how he can end it. I mean, I don't know how he can end it in a state that has it. He can urge the state legislature to change it. He can urge people to vote against the people who vote for it. But I don't know what, I mean, and maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know what mechanism the president would have to change a state law that says, you know, you can't set cash bail. And this article doesn't give you an indication of how he would do it. I wish he could. But I'm trying to think what would be the hook for it? What would be the constitutional hook for it? I mean, there are areas where the federal government can intrude and areas where it can't. And this is an area where state criminal law and state criminal procedure, unless it violates the Constitution, is within the purview of the state. And it's a court, not the president, that decides whether it violates the Constitution. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. It is as you saw at the beginning when I showed you the comparison of Washington to New York. The crime rates in New York, although frightening to the people there, are quite favorable compared to most other cities. There still is the issue of subway crime and how frightening it is, even though the mayor and the police commissioner, Commissioner Tisch, try to point out that there's been a reduction between 24 and 25 of 9.3% in felony assaults on the subway and 16.7% in robberies. But a lot of it with the subways, as I found out when I was reducing crime there, is episodic. The incident, it's like, I would say the same thing about crimes that happen in Central Park. They'd become a national story if it happened in Central Park. The same crime happening in the Bronx, or the same crime even happening in some other part of Manhattan, or just wouldn't get the same attention. Subway crimes get more attention, and the subway is inherently frightening because you're down below ground, you're stuck in there with a lot of people. It's hard to run away. So I think it gets when you on Saturday, some kind of a crazy nut pushed a man on the tracks at the 50th Street station for no reason. Well, they got him up and got him off, but so people hear that. They stand way back thinking, who's going to throw me on the tracks? An hour later, another unhinged person stabbed the guy in an East Village subway station. So it may be that the percentages are down, but every one of these becomes like a frightening experience. It's a little bit like plane crashes and car crashes. Almost nobody is afraid of getting into a car. A lot of people are afraid of getting on an airplane, and they've got like a multiple better chance of being killed in a car than on an airplane. Every time you go in a car, I don't know what the exact statistic is, but there's at least a 8 or 10 times greater chance that you'll die than if you get on an airplane. And I don't know anybody that is frightened of getting into a car.
Well, Mayor, it's funny you say that, right? People will use that as a stat to comfort people who are afraid of flying.
Yeah.
And then I start thinking about the ride to the airport. I start getting concerned about the ride to the airport, right?
Yeah, the ride to the airport is much more dangerous
And so I'll
than
be
flying flying to Germany.
And so someone will be afraid of flying. And so another friend will say, well, don't, the ride we're about to take is 10 times more dangerous. And I'm thinking to myself, should we be driving to the airport?
Yeah, I remember. You should walk to the airport.
Yeah, in a bubble.
So what do you think of Comrade Mondami having a rent-stabilized apartment, even though his family are millionaires? And he's making 130 grand a year. He's not exactly poor, and he doesn't have any children.
We're not surprised by that. That's the thing, Mayor, right? Isn't it just another example of how they operate on that?
Doesn't anyone know that that the leaders of the Communist Party and socialist movements are all millionaires?
Yes.
They all become millionaires.
Right.
Because it's a inherently corrupt, egocentric philosophy.
Right.
And therefore, you can justify taking anything for yourself. I mean, for years, I can tell you how the Clintons justified all their many, many crimes. We just do a better job. We care about poor people. Therefore, we can steal like hell.
Yeah.
Because it's better for us to be in office than the Republicans. And then, of course, it turns out to be just the opposite.
Yeah.
But they justify it as if, we're so important. And a lot of these zealots do exactly the same thing. But I mean, the idea, I don't even know why people are surprised that he's a cheater and a scumbag. I mean, I have no idea why, but look what he believes in. Horrible things. And look at his support for Hamas. I mean, Hamas is the group that put out the video of the guy digging his own grave.
Yeah.
And this guy refuses to condemn them. And he wants to be mayor of New York City. I mean, how crazy is that?
Nuts.
So there are, believe it or not, there's still 1 million rent-stabilized apartments in New York. Rent control is pretty much over. Rent control was a function of the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
And rent-stabilized apartments, if they hadn't actually started to reduce them, it'd probably be about 2 million. But there are almost as many rent-stabilized apartments in New York as there are regular apartments.
And Mayor,
it completely distorts the housing market.
Yeah, can you explain why? Because on its face, it sounds good, and he'll get hundreds of thousands of votes based off of this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you why.
What's the problem with that?
Landlords don't invest in the building. So if you're a landlord, if you're a guy who owns real estate property, you have some rent-stabilized apartments, you have regular apartments. In the regular apartment, you'll raise the rent, not only to make a profit, but to take care of the repairs, to take care of the modernization of the apartment. On the rent-stabilized apartment, you can't. You got to make do with whatever the government says you can get. So you buy the cheapest windows, and you clean it as infrequently as you can get away with. You don't put any money into your investment because it's not making any money for you. It's losing money for you. A regular apartment, the market is determining what the rent's going to be, and you want the apartment to be as desirable as possible. So you put the money in to modernize the apartment building because people are going to pay hard-earned dollars for that. So I don't think there's an economist, even half the communist economists, think that rent stabilization and rent control just ruins a real estate market, particularly for middle-class people. If there's any doubt about it. And New York is one of the few places that is holding on to remnants of it. Now, this communist wants to increase it again. I mean, it's just, I can't think of a thing that he wants to do that wouldn't ruin New York City, Ted. I can't think of a thing that he wants to do. It's a little like the FBI in Butler County protecting Trump.
Secret Service.
I can't think, not the FBI, the Secret Service. Yeah. I can't think of a thing they did right.
Right.
When people describe it, I say, tell me what they did right.
Right. Yeah, right. I mean, my goodness.
They did everything wrong. I mean, if there's a list of how you protect the president, they violated everything on the list.
I mean, if you're standing on that stage in Butler before it starts, the first thing you're going to do is look at that roof and say, get a guy up there. That's the first thing anyone without any security experience. Hey, how would you secure this environment? You stand on that stage.
And if you're in charge,
right there.
Don't you say we're not starting this until we get that guy that was running around with a gun that
right. They were told what
looks suspicious.
Upwards of 10 minutes, a few minutes.
How about we isolate that guy and find out who he's all about?
Yeah. How about we get the president off the damn stage?
Yeah, and then
or then candidate.
How about we pull the president up and just hold his head right there,
and hope
so in case they didn't get him right the first time, they can get him the second time.
Right.
Just the way they brought him up is like insane. It's insane. Want to show that again, Ted?
Yeah, let's.
That's insane.
Yeah,
it's here. Shoot him. Think of it. Think if you had a gun, what a shot you would have had at him.
Right.
And they don't know at that point. I'm not sure if the guy was shot or not. I think he was. He was already shot. But they have no idea if there are 2 shooters, 3 shooters, 4 shooters. In fact, the minute it happens, you have to assume there are more until you find out there aren't.
And you get them the heck out of there immediately. It is absolutely absurd. And we still are waiting for answers on that. And again, Mayor, and that's why a lot of folks, even now, are still extremely frustrated. The Butler situation is one of many where people want to see action. People do want to see, and it's not just about arrests and people in jail, but people want to see some accountability here, whether it's January 6th, whether it's the way that they weaponize the Justice Department against their political opponents, including yourself, Mayor. I think people, and look, we're willing to give our people some time, right? This isn't easy. It's not about, it's not that this can be done in one day, but they want to see, they want to know and feel confident that this is being worked on and something's going to come of it. I think there's a number of folks, including our audience, who feel we keep being told, it's coming, accountability is coming. Yet here we are in August, and what do we, over a year later, what the hell do we know about Butler? What do we know about the shooter in West Palm Beach? What's going on with the Democrat members of Congress who, the number of, with January 6th, right, and that select committee and all the lying and everything they did with that.
When are they going to identify all of the Antifa people?
Right.
Which I think they could do with facial recognition. And now
and we're in charge of the FBI now. We're in charge of supposedly this is our not when I say ours.
Here's a hint.
It's the American people.
The real infiltration of January 6th was not the FBI. It was Antifa. Antifa had a couple hundred people in there, and they're the ones who orchestrated it to be a violent, to the extent that it was violent. I mean, it was nothing compared to any one of about 70 rallies that the Democrats did in 2020. And it was like,
they destroyed our cities.
We just pick on some big things, like nothing was burned. Did you ever see a Black Lives Matter or an Antifa rally where something isn't burned down? I mean, it's like you have to burn something down.
And I was there the summer of 2020 in downtown Washington, D.C. Those protesters did a lot more damage to buildings and public facilities than anything on January 6th.
Can we pick on Colorado?
Should we? I mean,
it's another
isn't that low hanging fruit?
Isn't that low? Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Now, you would expect with a governor like that the place is overwhelmed with illegal aliens. It is. Denver, at least at one point, it may still has per capita more illegal aliens than New York. Invited in by Feliz Navidad and the idiotic mayor of Denver, who's being sued by the other counties. The other counties in Colorado are suing the mayor and the governor for sanctuary cities because the Trans-Nicaragua people are bleeding out into their counties and killing people.
Oh, that's what I thought. That was a big hoax. There's nothing going on. What?
Oh yeah,
remember?
So here's an example of why Colorado is a completely out of control place. Solomon Galligan, who is now goes by the name Carmen, was found to be mentally incompetent. Now, this was after he attempted to snatch, or she attempted to snatch, or it attempted to snatch an 11-year-old boy during recess at the Black Forest Hills Elementary School. And they found her to be mentally incompetent to stand trial. Now, the definition of that is she could not participate in her own defense. So it turns out that she's now been released to the streets. And the judge said they had no choice but to dismiss the charges under a 2024 amendment to the state's competency law. This is Feliz Navidad state. And Galligan is now walking the streets, and I'm sure, will grab another kid, and this time it might be worse. Right now, Galligan is at a treatment center, but can be released at any time. There's nothing requiring her to be there. Even Galligan's defense lawyer slammed Colorado's criminal justice system. We recognize that there is a broken system in the state of Colorado. That's her defense lawyer, its defense lawyer, whatever the hell she is. This is a transgender male who thinks it's a female. But she's a danger to children. And she was found by psychiatrists to be incapable of participating in her own defense. In other words, she's mentally ill and she can't help her lawyer defend herself. So what that should mean is you're incarcerated until you're cured, and then you can be tried. Particularly if we're talking about the potential of a crime of violence. I mean, if she was cheating on her income tax, fine, let her out. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody who tried to snatch an 11-year-old kid. What is she going to do? Is she going to do it again? We're just waiting for her to actually succeed in snatching a kid. Now, I don't know the law in Colorado well enough to know if the judge had no discretion and had to release this maniac. It would seem to me there has to be some kind of a involuntary incarceration for mentally ill people. Every state has that. In New York, it used to be you had to have the testimony of 2 psychiatrists that basically said you'd be a danger to yourself or others, and then you'd be kept until the condition was cured. That's the way Hinckley was held for 40 years, 30 years. So this is what happens in Democrat states where everybody smokes marijuana. The cannabis state. I don't even know how people can play baseball or football there without.
The air is lighter, so the balls go farther.
So there's now a new drug that is theoretically 43 times more dangerous than fentanyl. It is it's a Narcan-resistant opioid called nitazines. And 2 people recently have died of this. One of them is Lucci Reyes McAllister, 22, died near Houston after taking what they thought was a Xanax pill, but it was laced with N-pyroliginoprotonidazine. And that's 25 times more lethal than fentanyl. And it was. And nitazines range from 5 to 43 times more lethal than fentanyl. And they can be laced into drugs to make them more powerful. And you got to be really careful, because if you make an error at all, you're going to kill somebody like that. Months later, a friend of Reyes McAllister, Hunter Clement, thought he was taking Percocet, same thing, and died. So it's very, very easy to think that something is very, very safe. And in fact, it's laced with this, as well as, fentanyl. And believe it or not, nitazines are produced in clandestine Chinese laboratories. So it uses the same Mexican, Chinese to Mexican cartel entry route. I'm sure this came in droves during the Biden, come on over. Don't worry about it. We'll help you over the border, even if you're illegal. Now, it was developed, this drug was developed 60 years ago as an alternative to morphine, but it was never approved even for medical use because of its high risk of overdose. And it's hard to correlate exactly how, I don't understand it, but there are certain drugs, it's easier to make sure the dosage is correct. This is, you make the slightest little error and you're into the 3 times, 4 times, 10 times more lethal than fentanyl. Fentanyl has the same problem, by the way.
Right.
Well, let's see if we've covered most everything.
Well, we've covered a lot, but we had our, I don't know if you have, maybe we'll plan on it tomorrow since today was kind of an interesting day. We have a lot from our little quick trip out west. I know you got some really good information on Lake Mead, but maybe we'll save that for tomorrow.
Okay.
Tonight,
as we get closer to
right.
Alaska.
Here's a little bit of action from earlier. It's called Pickleball. So we'll just here's a little shot from earlier
What
tonight.
happened to Wayne? Did he have to leave?
Wayne had to take off.
Too bad.
Yeah. Here's earlier today. Pickleball. So a short little taste there of
You have more than that, don't you?
I do, but I want to get a couple. And then here's our friend on the
Wins. I had him, Doing okay, Wayne. Doing all right.
Well, it's very big in New Hampshire, just like it is in South Florida, both the East Coast and now even the West Coast and now even the East Coast. They told me, and I didn't know, that there's a big pickleball stadium in Fort Lauderdale. And I don't know, and they said it holds 20,000 people for a pickleball tournament. And the people in Naples are worried that it might take the business away from them. Well, Naples is sort of the capital of pickleball.
I didn't know that.
That's where they have the world championship every year.
So the east side is going to start competing.
Well, now they're worried because the Fort Lauderdale facility is bigger. Did you notice it's like a scaled down version of tennis?
Yes.
It's sort of a cross between tennis and ping pong.
Yep.
It's like about half the size of the tennis court, but the ball is like a wiffle ball.
Right.
So it loses speed.
Right.
However, because things are so close together, it still comes at you pretty darn fast.
Right.
And it does tend to create more injuries than tennis. Now, the people tell me the reason is the people who play it are in bad shape. But I actually think it's more complicated than that. I think it requires much more dramatic pivots.
Yeah.
You have more, even though the ball is coming faster, you have a little more time to anticipate in tennis.
Yeah.
So when you make your pivot, you balance yourself. You just naturally balance yourself. Here, if you notice, Ted, you got to like jerk yourself into another position very quickly. And it's very easy to pull a ligament or pull an ankle.
Let's see these guys. Let's play that clip.
I've seen 7 or 8 people play in a morning without somebody being injured.
Right. Well, let's see if I can find our clip, and you can see let's see these guys here. These guys were some athletic guys.
But if you look at it, the strategy is very much like tennis, right?
Right.
So he served and he tried to get to the net so he could control the ball, and then he put it right down the middle with a shot that was beyond them.
Right.
It's very much a very similar strategy.
Yes, like you said. So we had quite the time. Maybe next time, Mayor, you and I will throw our hat in the ring. But here's a quick picture of the group.
One time, I never really played it. I volleyed a few times.
But we want the audience to know we made sure we were back here in time for the show. Fun and games, that's all fine. But then we made our way back just in time. And there's the group, Mayor. There we are.
There you go.
Yeah.
They're the pickleball.
Yeah, they had a tournament there. We'll have to find out who won.
Oh, that's a great little court that Wayne has there.
Right? Look at that. That could have with the back. It looks like, wow. Yeah, quite the spot he's
so
got
your
there.
Detroit Tigers look pretty safe, Ted.
Mayor, I'm feeling
the Yankees look in a very dangerous position. They keep losing more than they win, and they slipped to third place.
Third?
6 games out.
6 games. How much time we got?
Out.
It's mid-August already. How much time we got? A month and a half?
Don't have much time. They can't. They keep blowing games in the 8th and 9th inning with their relief pitching.
That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. In August, you don't have.
They don't have a closer. They really don't have a closer.
And you're competing. You're supposed.
I can't think of the Yankees without a closer since I don't know when, the 80s or something.
Wow.
They always had a high quality closer.
Yeah, you were spoiled. With Mariano Rivera.
I mean, one was a magician.
Yeah.
But they were all good.
Right. When you have someone like that, you get so spoiled, right? And you're reminded of how good you had it when he's gone, right? I feel that way about the Packers and the quarterback position. So,
well, I want everyone to pray for the president. He's getting ready for maybe the biggest meeting of his presidency so far. It'll determine a lot in terms of saving lives. It's possible he's going to have to walk out. It's possible that Putin will be irrational and unreasonable. And that isn't just a game. That means a lot more people are going to die. And I think it weighs very, very heavily on him. You can see that. Even though they're not Americans, they're human lives. And we do have some ability to have an effect on it. So you want to make sure that your effect is a positive one and that you save lives. So let's see. Let's see if Putin is willing to be reasonable. I tend to think he needs more. He needs more. How would we best describe this? He needs to feel more pain. And then I think he will become reasonable, because I think Putin, although vicious and homicidal and everything else you want to say about him, I think he's a rational guy. Rational murderer. There are such things. Well, thank you very much for joining with us. Pray for the people of Ukraine and pray for the people of Iran so that they can get out from under the yoke of the reign of terror, and pray for the people of Israel who are constantly at risk, surrounded by some people that want to exterminate them. And of course, pray for our president and our people so that we continue to move in the right direction and reestablish our government as it was intended after a long, long nightmare of violation of human rights, legal rights, just common decency. So tomorrow, don't forget, we'll be on at 7. And then at 8, we'll be on X both times. You can get us on X at not only on Lindell TV, but also on X. And then you get us on X here at America's Mayor Live. And we'll make sure you get everything. I think we covered everything that you weren't going to get anyplace else. Yep. We have. So good night now, and God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze,